nation's capital in Washington, D.C., stands a statue honoring one of Oklahoma's greatest men. The son of a Cherokee woman and a white man, Sequoyah was born in the Appalachian Mountains in the last half of the 1700s. While still a mountain man, Sequoyah began toying with the idea of putting the Cherokee language on paper. After 10 to 12 years of experimenting with various symbols for words, Sequoyah eventually developed the Cherokee alphabet. Sequoyah came to Oklahoma in 1829 when the Cherokees were brought to their new home in northeastern Oklahoma. He died in 1843, but his fame as the creator of an alphabet for an entire nation spread worldwide. Sequoyah, one of the great men who made a great state, Oklahoma. The year is 1541. The caravan of men on horseback has been traveling for over a year. They are led by the Spanish explorer Francisco Vasquez Coronado as they shuffle over the rolling hills and plains of the Oklahoma Panhandle. The search for the 7 cities of Cibola, cities made of houses studded with emeralds, has been underway for 2 years. Earlier expeditions into the land north of Mexico had brought back the tales of gold and emerald homes and animals described as hunchback cows as far as the eye could see. Although Coronado returned to Mexico with only more descriptions of buffalo and the discovery of the Grand Canyon to his credit, his expedition into North America's Great Plains marked the start of recorded history in what is now Oklahoma. The pulsating sound of the search for black gold deep beneath the Earth's surface. The first search for the black gold of Oklahoma began in January of 1897 with a wooden drilling rig near Bartlesville. In April of that year, the Nellie Johnstone No. 1 spewed forth the first supply of the black syrupy liquid that built Oklahoma. Today, there are more than 88,000 oil and gas wells in all but 5 of the state's 77 counties. The state's Capitol building in Oklahoma City is the only Capitol building in the world with an oil well under it. And there are 17 other oil wells on the Capitol grounds. The oil industry, one of the building blocks of a great state, Oklahoma. It's April 22nd, 1889. Thousands of people have gathered along a line that stretches for miles into an open prairie. And then, at exactly 12 noon, a bugle sounds and rifle shots signal instant pandemonium. The run of 1889 is underway. By sundown that night, where there was once only buffalo grass and open prairie, there were an estimated 100,000 people who staked their claims on 160 acres of land in Oklahoma Territory. The run of 1889 is now a part of history, the history of Oklahoma. One of the men who spread the name of Oklahoma around the world was Gordon W. Lilly, better known as Pawnee Bill.
I came down here first in 1878. Then I went back to Bloomington, Illinois, where I was born and reared up until I was around 20, and put in 1 year back there, 1 year at school. Then I came back here in 1879 and landed at Pawnee, Oklahoma. It was just a government post in those days. The Pawnees were the only ones that
His name is Will Rogers. He was born in Oklahoma. For years, his down-home humor kept the nation laughing, and his humor is timely even today.
No matter what we pay, I don't care whether we pay high taxes, low taxes, medium taxes, or no anything. The yell is always the same. Of course, we know our government is costing us more than it's worth, but do you know of any other cheaper government that's running around now? I mean, do you? I mean, if you do, I mean, they'll sell you a ticket there anytime. Now you can try Russia. I was over there. Yeah, you can try Russia. There's no income tax in Russia, but there's no income.
The late Will Rogers, one of the great people who made a great state, Oklahoma. Rifle shots and arrows pierced the air in the late 1800s. The 9th and 10th Cavalry Regiments of the U.S. Army were locked in combat with the Cheyenne Indians. The 9th and 10th Cavalry Regiments, better known as the Buffalo Soldiers, were 2 of 6 all-black Army regiments commanded by whites, which fought the Indians after the Civil War in Oklahoma Territory. These 2 black regiments built Fort Sill, Fort Arbuckle, and some of the early roads that crossed Oklahoma. The Buffalo Soldiers, part of the history and heritage of the people of Oklahoma.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to Melody Ranch with Gene Autry. I'm back in the saddle again, out where a friend is a friend.
I went to work on the Frisco Railroad when I was 17 years old, and I think that I worked in every city along the Frisco from Denison, Texas, all the way to Springfield, Missouri, and out west all the way into Lawton, Fort Sill, and Quanah. So I think that I perhaps have worked in every town and city in this state.
I'm back in the saddle again.
Gene Autry, one of the many stars who brought fame to Oklahoma. Governor Alfalfa Bill Murray once called him 100 years ahead of his time. The man he was talking about was Roscoe Dungey, founder and editor of the Black Dispatch. For more than 40 years, Roscoe Dungey was in the forefront of every major movement for equal rights in Oklahoma. Proving the pen mightier than the sword, Dungey wrote elegant newspaper editorials and personally managed to end government-supported residential segregation in Oklahoma. He secured equality of treatment before the courts for both blacks and whites, improved health conditions for blacks, started voter registration drives despite threats against his life, and he championed educational excellence for all citizens of the state. Roscoe Dungey, editor, publisher, armchair attorney, activist for equal rights, humanist. One of the great men who built a great state, Oklahoma.
The manner of electing the Committee of 14 was interesting, to say the least.
April 25th, 1889. 3 days before, some 10,000 people had established an instant city in the unclaimed lands of Indian Territory. Now the first town meeting of Oklahoma City was underway, and its chairman was Dr. Angelo Scott.
He was shoved through the dense crowd to the chairman's box, hoisted to the chairman's side, and exposed to the gaze of the multitude. If they liked his looks, they voted him up. If not, they voted him down. It was tough to be rejected on one's looks, but that thing happened.
Dr. Angelo Scott, chairman of the first town meeting of Oklahoma City at the age of 21. Later, he became president of Oklahoma A&M College. One of the great men who built a great state, Oklahoma.